Assalamu alaikum. Very good afternoon. Good evening to all. So we are in the last sessions of the program. We started on 4th Wednesday, and we are now Thursday 12th. And this is the last session, and this was supposed to be on 4th day. That was last Saturday. But it was good that we have postponed this session today because it is related to research collaborations. In the previous session, we discussed about research project management, and since these two are related research, it's timely and also relevant to be joined together. Professor Anjan Chakravarty sir will be talking about interdisciplinary research collaborations. So before we start, let me introduce Professor Chakravarty sir to this august audience. So Professor Anjan Chakravarty sir, he is a professor director. UGC Mission Teacher Training Center at the University of North Bengal, and he has been professor since 2020 and associate professor since 2016 20, and then also he was assistant professor of economics in the Darjeeling and Darjeeling St. Joseph College, and after that he joined University of Burdwan, and then now University of North Bengal. And his research interest and that Professor Chakravarty has made significant contribution to the field of economics, development, and sustainability, particularly focusing on the northeast region of India. His research includes topics such as agricultural productivity, regional disparities, and socioeconomic impacts of policies. He has published numerous articles in reputed journals and has contributed to editorial volumes, and he also published books. So he has been a member of different bodies, the academic and research affiliations. If you look at, there's a lots of number of you, and it will take, I think, consume much of the time. If I go through his CV, I think I need at least 15 minutes to complete his CV. So he has been as an academic, a member of Athens Institute for Education Research, Athens, Greece, and member of International Society for Sustainability and Development, Japan, and scientific member to the third and fourth conference on economic and development, Journal of Mountain Research, etc. So there's lots of and his affiliations to various bodies as very commendable, and he also has been in terms of his teaching. He has taught us. I already told you microeconomics and microeconomics and growth development economics, Indian economics problems and policy, etc. And then if you look at this research project, so he has also carried out lots of researches beginning with 2005 to 2020 till 24. He has associated lots of he has carried out lots of research project work. And then his journal articles, I think it's numbering more than 23, and also chapters in selected volumes are there more than 20. And he has been resource persons for more than again 58 programs. He has been as a resource persons. So today we are having a I hope that will have a very wonderful sessions on interdisciplinary research collaborations. I request all the participants to join me in welcoming Professor Anjan Chakravarty sir, and to handle the last session of this 23rd online Malaga Mission Teacher Training Program conducted by IMU on NEP 2020 orientation and certification. With these words, I can thank you all.
I just made a mistake. I thought that I need to talk about higher education society. I'll change it. So no problem with that. Just be a forgetfulness. It's my mistake. And I express my sincere thanks and gratitude for try to put me in a very high academic. I'm not, but 1 second. I just made a mistake. I thought maybe I overlapped with some other institutions.
Over.
Oh, okay. So this particular lecture, I had a slide. I will slide it later, but possibly to carry on the discussions without slides, also I can move. I was just sorry for that. I made a mistake that I put another slides. Right now. I'm not putting any slides, so I'll go on discussion. First of all, I express my sincere thanks and gratitude to esteemed participants. It's really our privilege that all the esteemed teachers from various universities and colleges beautifully carried on by Aligarh Muslim University under the very able leadership of Professor Faiza Basi and his other colleagues. So I express my sincere thanks and gratitude for the invitations. I say very good afternoon to all of you. And the topic that I'll try to discuss is the research and development. Rather, the interdisciplinarity and multidisciplinary research. That's more precisely I'll try to. Now, all of majority of you are having a PhD degree. So what is the full form of PhD? It's simple. All of us we know. Please, if you can respond, what is the
Sir, it's a Doctor of Philosophy.
It's a Doctor of Philosophy. So all of us whosoever acquired this particular degree, or maybe they're aspiring for that, or many of you are actually guided your scholars to get the PhD degree. Possibly many of you have already guided. And then what we do generally, or what the way we receive the certificate or carry on the research is then it is suffixed by our discipline. Say, for example, my discipline was economics, so it was PhD in economics, and in that way it goes. There are some interdisciplinary researches also, maybe some generic subjects within the biological sciences, or say physical sciences, whatever you say. So some generic subjects are there, but there are also subjects, the way we define ourselves. But the prefix is very important. Why prefix is important? Because Doctor of Philosophy. Now, it gives us what? Does it give us a permission to become eligible for college and university, to become college and university? Yes, it's true. Does it helps us? And through research also, maybe we followed by certain publication, a certain academic performance indices, so API calculations, so we get higher API. All those things happen. And these are not a very, for a pretty long period of time, those things were there. These are not very, there is some changes, I can say. Maybe last 15 to 20 years, these changes we are observing. Fair enough. But the important thing of getting a PhD degree means that we, all of us, become an independent researcher. That means I got the legitimacy to carry on my future research independently. At the same time, can shape the future. And we have different intake capacities. Those are laid down rules and regulations. All of us, we know. I do not have any intention to go into that. So that means there are two poles, or rather, two converging. Is that I become and my actually bringing other scholars to shape them or make them prepared to get that degree and become an independent researcher. Precisely, that is the meaning. If you leave aside all those credits, like your eligibility to become a professor, to make an entry in a college, in institutions or universities, and so forth. So this is the first. The second and important aspect that we need to understand or need to nurture the questions that that looms large, that what we are looking for through a PhD. Now, you may, all of us, we say that, okay, I have a lot of knowledge in economics, I did PhD, I taught, did full of knowledge, I got it. And that's the case for everyone. Fine, fair enough, no problem. But when I was doing my research in economics, when you are doing your research in possibly in any of the languages, or maybe in the scientific fields, or maybe in the creative fields, any, across the spectrum, my argument and proposition is that our PhD is basically interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary in nature, always. Whether we proclaim it, whether we assert it, or whether we don't accept it because of my disciplinary orientation. But intrinsically, we remain interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary. You may put up a question, so how come is it possible? How can you substantiate this particular argument? It is not the case. I learned English. Do you expect to know something about economics? Yes. The answer is no. And for that matter, maybe I have a little bit of knowledge here and there other than beyond my subjects. But that's very limited. And that is case for most of us, rather. There are certain people who actually excelled in multiple fields. They can simultaneously handle various issues, but that are not many in numbers. They are the erudite group. Rather, we try to grasp my own, remain eligible physically and mentally. Now, having said so, again, I'm reiterating the fact, but I remain interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary. Or rather, there's ample evidences that I can consciously, I can try now. Maybe covertly I did that one. Now I can do it overtly because of the changes in the policy that took place through NEP 2020. And this changes is not because of the NEP 2020 alone. Rather, if you look from post-1991 scenario, when it gradually, we are opened up, we got connected to trade and commerce internationally, then gradually we also become eligible, or rather we started feeling that we should be part of global knowledge system. Not only the global knowledge system, but the knowledge economy can be one of the important driving force for the country altogether. Stood in the post-19. And thereafter the term collaboration, networking, all those things gradually getting into our research lexicon. We understand gradually getting tuned ourselves in that line. Again, that is fine. Absolutely okay. But before that, I need to differentiate between the two terms that I use, interdisciplinarity and multidisciplinarity. What is the difference? You know better than me. It's not that I'm reading something very innovative, something very unique. It's not the case. We know it. Now, interdisciplinary, I started working on the gender issues. And being an economist, I collected data, maybe some secondary data from published sources. Maybe I go to field and collect questionnaires. I collected more data. And I come out with certain conclusions. Okay, that dropout rate is this, the child at different stages, the enrollment ratio is this, and then the student teacher ratio is this, the infrastructure bottleneck is existing this level, and the some other attributes which are quantifiable mostly. I thought that in economics I'd make a study on the gender. And we try to look at that, okay, women are not part of the workforce, there are various issues involved in blah, blah, blah. So that's the way economists try to do. But if you go little ahead, a little beyond, the question that if arises that, okay, fine, fair enough, we understood girls dropout rate is high. Give some real examples. Okay, they are getting early marriages are there, or maybe there are some social factors that are influencing, and then we may talk about our historical legacy, where the women by and large for centuries, over many centuries, knowledge domain. They haven't been allowed to be part of the knowledge domain. And that is a domination of patriarchy. Patriarchy and feudalism is very closely linked. Feudalism means why the landed class and landless class, they exist together. And patriarchy generally is the male dominations we call. And that these are the factors are having some bearings in the present day also. Now, when we are taking these issues, now the economics, being an economist, I find it very incapable. Why do I find incapable? Because I do not have knowledge of history. I do not have a thorough study about the cultural studies. I have a very little knowledge of theology. Or I do not have much knowledge about the other, maybe the governance. So see, the same gender issue, and especially the gender and education, if I have to deal with, the economist will stop up to certain extent. If he wants to really want to look at multiple aspects, then what is coming? I realized that this is a social issue, and other social science disciplines will also be part of that. Is it the end? I will not say no. Might be there are local folklores and tunes, folk songs, which will narrate the pain of the women. Then maybe I require people from that genre also to understand that. So when I speak interdisciplinary, and when it's the questions of multidisciplinarity in research, say for example, I'm talking about the global warming, I'm talking about the climate change, which is a very crucial issue nowadays. Most of the researchers across the group, across the boundaries, they are trying to combat simultaneously, collectively, the issues of this. That matter, say for example, I'm looking at the development issue. Okay, constructions of hydel powers in the hilly regions, making big roads in the hills, or say for example, structural development that is taking place. If I look from that perspective, we'll tell, okay, there is issues of displacement involved. The issue, say for example, this kind of development intervention is causing landslides, accentuated the landslides. There's a loss of lives. There's a compensation. Fine, I understood that one. But if I have to take it more closely, look at more closely the issues of, say, for example, even the example, the last example I have given, or for that matter, if I give example of climate change or the warming and the impact, can an economist do all the things alone? No. Don't you require all kind of subjects? Yes, we do require all kind of subjects. We require botanists, biologists, anthropologists. We require geologists. We require river expert. We require geographers. We require environmental engineers. We require hardcore engineers. The role of other social science discipline too. When we are taking these particular aspects, we are addressing the issues. It's become multidisciplinary. And if you look at the global changes, the way the global research is taking place, possibly that's the direction the global research move towards. What that would be raised, that which we are telling the global issues, maybe 30 years back or 50 years back, when we are not so globally connected, we remain rather an insulated economy, more or less an insulated society. Yes, our ancient past is something different. Civilizational aspects are completely different. At the top, there was a China. At the other side, there is a Greece. At the other side is Africa. And it was the extraterrestrial route, which is the Silk Route. And below there is the Indian Ocean. And that is the hub of the civilization. And civilizational exchanges, religious, faith, belief, trade, commerce, art, aesthetics, as the heart of the kind of civilizations. And the ascendancy of Europe is only it's just couple of 100 years back, I can say. So it's the 15th century even. Now, having said so, what I was started with, the problem that I was trying to construct, or the way I hypothesized the whole thing, argument, I told that if there is this kind of interdisciplinarity, multidisciplinarity, the research agenda or research, but when we remain our discipline, we also remain overtly interdisciplinary or multidisciplinary. Why? Because the degree we got, that is a doctor of philosophy. And when we look from the philosophical perspective, then the subject boundaries get blurred, because philosophy is the interpart of all the subjects. All the subjects actually submerged to philosophy.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
I am the professor of philosophy. That's why I am giving you thank you for this point.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much, madam. I certainly try to learn a lot from, because I am not from philosophy. So if I commit any mistake, please, ma'am, feel free to do correct me.
No, sir. I am not so.
No, you are absolutely welcome, because it's a process here. We are mostly try to engage ourselves in a discussion so that we can mutually learn. It's not that I know everything and I'm sharing. It's not like that. So that's always, and that's why that is a basic crux of this NEP orientation and sensitization program. Now, when we are talking about, actually, all the researches are problems are being incorporated in the philosophy, and some categories have been made. Now, what are these three categories? And all these categories are actually remain present in any kind of researches, irrespective of disciplines. The first is a philosophical problem. What is the philosophical problem that we are addressing? The first thing is that man's place in the universe. So if we talk about the man's place in the universe, the question that we ask, that only man will possess the earth. all of us in an unanimity. Yes, no, it's not the case. It's the Homo sapiens are not the owner of the universe. No, it cannot be. It is not there. But we tend to forget. We prefer to forget. We prefer to ignore. We consider ourselves the most developed animals. We consider. I don't know how other living beings they consider us. Might be any elephant might smile. The parrot maybe make a mockery. Or the monkey maybe look at a kind of some kind of amusement that, oh, hey, this Homo sapiens. Even the virus and bacteria, they occasionally look at us that how poor guy you. That okay, we entered in your body through bat and pangolin. And this is the biggest health catastrophe you confront, and you are so you become so tentative. So horrific. Says the limitations. Having understanding with understanding, prefer our civilizations of the modernity. Always prefer to ignore that. And if we are ignoring, then philosophy will keep on posing questions. Now, just I'll deviate a little bit because I got tempted to get back to my own subjects. That's kind of some kind of biasness that we talk about development nowadays, or for a pretty long period of time, that the word development is part of our social structure. That social structure and development got intertwined. At all, maybe in 18th century, the answer is no. Or maybe 19th century, the answer is no. The word is not part of the society. It's part of biological sciences. It's Darwin who told that origin of species. If you take out the crux, Darwinism is that change is constant. And then we have a Hegelian concept of history. Now, what is the Hegelian concept of history? Before that, I think one German essayist, his name is Justus Moser. So he used gradual, not even the term development. And thereafter, now what Hegelian concept of history? I think ma'am is there, Shampa madam is there. She can correct me. She told that, okay, we try, the philosophy will collect data from the reality. The question is, what is reality? So what is real and what is apparent truth? There is a difference. Now, how can substantiate that the Catholic belief that it is the sun rotating around the sun, around the earth? And we're forced to believe that. Because if we look, we'll find, yes, that's true. But later on, it's the Galileo, Copernicus, and so on and so forth. They don't know. It's the other way around. Similarly, the word liberty. We started searching. What is the meaning of liberty? Someone told that, okay, maybe the tyranny is the liberty. I can do anything to everything. And then through experiences, we gather information. Philosophy gathers data. No. Tyranny is not the liberty. Or I can work according. Then we realized from experiences, no, that's not true. The liberty means it's unfolding the critical minds. Ability to ask the answers of the questions in a scientific and logical manner. And who did the synthesis? So therefore, it is thesis, antithesis, and synthesis, and Marx did that particular synthesis. And gradually the word development become part of the social science. So we see that how we started from a biology and reached to social sciences. Do that period of time, do you have a concept of interdisciplinarity or multidisciplinarity? But when we are taking course of the philosophy, oh, sorry, shit, this is a mistake. Just a minute. I forgot to make it put it silence mode. So that is there. So therefore, what I was trying to portray, then the further philosophical questions that will get up or keep on asking questions, and why philosophy will ask questions, we'll reach to that one. Yes, Shampa ma'am, you are absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. Yes, please do supplement and compliment me so that I can learn simultaneously. Please keep on doing that. Don't stop. Now, what is reality and what is mere surface appearances? Now, I'll take this one. You can recognize it, no? What is this? Please, can you anyone, is it visible what I am holding in my hand? Can you identify this particular thing? Is anyone can respond? And this is the mouse. And the color might be white, so
It
can
is
be-
not visible, sir.
Yeah, I mean, it might be. It's a mouse.
Yes, sir, I
computer-
could not see this.
Okay. So that's anyway. Because this is a computer mouse. The color is white, so that's maybe it's becoming little because most of the time it's black. But it is a mouse. But there's a different kind of mouse exist. That is a living being. It's a non-living being. But it is having a certain kind of physical appearances. Yeah.
Sorry, sir, to interrupt you, if you
Hmm.
don't mind. Sir, I got a very nice example, whatever you have given just a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
You have
Please.
given the example of Copernicus revolution.
Hmm.
Copernicus. So I got interested, and that's why I had written in a box. I don't know whether it is correct or not. So we had seen this in our philosophical discussion of Kant's, German philosopher Kant's.
Mhm.
There he wrote about Copernicus revolutions.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
if there is any mistake, sir,
No,
then
it's absolutely correct, ma'am. You are absolutely correct. You are
okay, sir.
absolutely
Sorry to interrupt, sir, but
No,
your
no, you are
lecture is
listening. Don't consider it an interruption. See that this is a platform. You are most like the positions you are having. I am having in the same.
no, sir. Your lecture is very interesting. I'm hearing, and so,
No, it's okay. All of you are absolutely welcome to give
okay,
me
sir.
ideas.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Okay, sir.
So
Sorry for this.
no. Please, you nothing to sorry. That's the way we can get the things. No, like because
Okay, sir.
it's
Okay.
a platform where we discuss rather instead of just listening.
Okay, thank you, sir.
So therefore, it is called mouse. This is not a mouse which is an animal. This is an object. And this object will remain its physical appearances or surface appearances, but its functionalities depends on what? Its functionalities depends on what? It's the right click, left click. Now, when I am clicking this, that my finger are rotating. Who is sending that? It is the mouse that is sending the signals. It is the computer that is sending the signals. No. It's the mind that is sending the signals. It's the brain that is sending the. Maybe that brain got tuned. Logical order. The brain mapped it in a manner so that we got accustomed. So that means what is reality actually, what this mouse can do, become a reality once it get connected or get mapped through our intelligence or through our brain, function of brain. Or for that matter, you take all of your institutions, look at your institutional structure, you just maybe go back to 30 years or 40 years, the structure either may not exist, or even if it is existed, it was different. Maybe there was a farming land gradually that become maybe where the college or the universities got established. Maybe a different time period of time. So what was reality 30 years back? That reality is kept on changing. So whatever surface appearance, say for example, you are going through a roads. Maybe 30 years back, there is no roads. There might be forest. So we cut it and created a road. Now we are telling this is a road. So therefore, the next question that comes, is the world of physical things real? We know. World physical things real? Okay, there are a lot of things which are not physical in nature, are also real. Now I'm started crying. Tears are rolling on. Can you measure it? No, I cannot measure it. Okay, and for that matter, anything. I listen to music or to painting or cinema or movies, and that type of joy I'm getting. It's not physical in nature. It's rather psychological in nature. And it differs. And if it differs, then the question, what about us? What about us, a material organism which avoids pain and seek pleasure, a collection of atoms programmed to grow, to mature, and to self-destruct, a product of genetic materials we inherited from the past, and the product of environment in which we have. If you take, you find that the disciplinary orientation is getting changes. Now, if we ask that, are we only a body? There might be biological sciences there. Then maybe the physics entering, the chemistry enters. When you talk about try to avoid pains and seek pleasure, we're getting moved towards the social domain. And if we talk about the collection of atoms programmed to grow, we are getting more deeper into the scientific genre, to mature and to self-destruct. Might be the cell biology, molecular sciences. A product into genetic engineering, which is a derivative of the biological sciences again, mixed up, blended up with some mathematics. And finally, we are reaching to a question that, are we a product of environment which we have lived or have been living? Then it has taken us to completely different arena. Why? Because if we look from the civilizational aspects, then for a pretty long period of time, especially in the post-industrial revolution scenario in Great Britain, we tend to forget sounds very seriously. actually part of nature. And if you look the Vedic philosophy or Buddhist philosophy, then what it is proclaiming? It is proclaiming precisely the relationship between nature and all living beings. But how many of us do care of us? Hardly we care. We don't care at all. And since we don't care at all, then I'll take it to a different platform, to a political platform rather. Now we talk about ahimsa, and Gandhiji is there. And Gandhiji led the country with this conviction of ahimsa. And we got the freedom. And in the world, accepted as a unique concept. And ahimsa was was always that is grossly, that was the dominant forces. That is why we are there till today. Otherwise, all of us, we cut each other and destroy because of greed. But leaving aside the problem I will try to address here, that be it from our civilization, that means maybe the postmodern era, and in the West, it's much earlier, that we never practiced the concept of ahimsa to the nature. And Gandhiji subsequently, J.C. Kumarappa, M.N. Srinivasan, then E.F. Sumakha, if you read those books, Small is Beautiful, and then J.C. Kumarappa's book, Eminence, Permanence of Economics or something like that, I forgot the name. So the crux of the whole story is that if you become ahimsa to the nature, then nature will retaliate. And that is a more strongly at this present time. And that is why such a hue and cry across the world, across the globe. And we are talking about all these issues of environment and try to combat it. But what is the philosophical compromise we made for such a long period of time that we remain extremely brutal to the environment or the nature? Had we not been so brutal to the nature, nature would not have retaliated. And when nature is retaliating, we try to come out with different kind of solutions to revert back to. Now, saying this, another important question philosophy put be critical philosophy. I'm very honestly speaking, because I didn't study at all. Just I take it from here and there and try to build up my arguments. So, do our reality consist in our being a mind or a soul? That's precisely very important. And that is really, really difficult. And from here, actually, all the subjects to the metaphysics, which I do not know anything about that.
Can I answer, sir?
Yes, yes, absolutely. You're most welcome. You are my savior today, madam.
Thank you, sir. I don't know whether my answer will be correct or not. In my points of view, whatever you were asking or were explaining, whether reality comes from in mind or soul.
Yeah.
So if I have catched your point properly, I don't know. So my point is, as far as from philosophical points of view, Indian philosophy especially, reality I think is consist in our soul, not in mind.
Yeah, absolutely, madam. You are absolutely correct. But the question is that we have our sensory organs. That means,
Sir, sorry to disturb.
yeah, yes, yes, sir.
I have submission.
Yes,
I have a
please.
submission.
Go ahead.
May I please know how we can differentiate this mind and soul?
Yeah, I'll try.
Mind is sensor. Mind is sense organ. Okay, sir, you give answer, sir.
Okay, I'll try, sir. And I'll try in a very different ways, actually.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay. That is not actually straight away I'll get into more philosophical argument. Rather, I'll just take a refuge to someone else whose name is straight away and take one. Now, he got told that, say, for example, the knowledge. Now, the knowledge, he defined that, okay, knowledge or requirement of education and so on and so forth. He told us, say, for example, that two individuals got birth. And by birth, one is absolutely have no knowledge and one is absolutely knowledgeable. Then the question arises, it's a binary situation, no? So the question arises that how it will be reconciled. He told that, no, these two extreme position doesn't exist at all. What exists are some intermittent situations, so some intermediary situations. All of us, whatever, irrespective of our places, we try to acquire knowledge. And how? The initial is absolutely from our environment, from our nature. The second and important part is that gradually we try to techniques and many things, which is actually part of formal education system. General formal education does that. The formal research does that. But what's about the joy of learning? That the joy of knowledge, that is also equally important. That some kind of madness may evoke, and you may find that this person is lunatic. And most of the scientists or the best possible are the people who are really we admire across the globe. Yes, if you look closely, then we find, okay, they are not normal human beings. They behave little abnormal. Actually, the truth lies somewhere else in this knowledge gaining process. There is a connection being created between mind and soul. Souls get a joy, sense of joy. That is, we call inner happiness. And inner happiness is very difficult to kind of observe. But mind can be mapped, the knowledge can be measured. Okay, that's what mind is gathering. But if our sensory organs become so powerful that we can sense what is below there, beneath the earth, and if we can look at the hollow space that we call sky, and if you try to feel that something is there where I can identify something. So this is actually the sages can do that. And again, I'll resort to, you may say that you are constantly convenient with that. Priscilla Prasad. Sir, Priscilla Prasad.
I am sorry. Advocate Priscilla Prasad. Advocate Priscilla Prasad, please mute yourself.
So let's move forward. Now I will use two Tegersons to understand Priscilla Prasad.
അവിടെ കൊണ്ട് കൊടുത്തപ്പോ അവർ റൂം നമ്പർ 615 പറഞ്ഞു ഈ പേയ്മെന്റ് ചെയ്തൊരു സ്ലിപ്പ് ആ
Priscilla
സ്ലിപ്പും കയ്യിൽ
Prasad,
തന്നു.
please kindly if you mute
എന്നിട്ട് പറഞ്ഞു
yourself.
ഇതിനകത്തേക്ക്
Priscilla Prasad, sir, can you kindly mute yourself? Okay, by the time he is getting muted, I'm taking a small break.
Admin, please mute them.
Yes, by the time he is getting muted, I'm taking a small break.
ഈ ടെക്നിക്കലി വരാതിരിക്കാൻ വേണ്ടിയാണ് നേരത്തെ ഇല്ലാതെ ചെയ്യുന്നത്. അതെല്ലാം കൊടുത്ത് എല്ലാ ഡോക്യുമെന്റ് പ്രിന്റ് എടുത്ത് സൈൻ ചെയ്ത് വന്ന പാടെ എനിക്ക്
We have removed Priscilla Prasad. Sir, you may continue. Hello, Anjan Prasad, sir. Sarah's left. Sir, we have removed the advocate Priscilla Prasad. She was creating nuisance and noises in the group. So you may please continue.
I can start. No? So I sought to take out in very different way. So yes, Ajamat Ali, sir, would you like to ask anything? You raise your virtual hand. Okay, fine. If you have anyone, if you would like chip in, please. Now I'll song. I am not a singer. Just for to have a kind of a interplay of soul and mind, I will use two Tagore songs. I will sing and then I'll translate. Please do forgive me for a very untuned kind of expositions. So one is জীবন মরণে সীমানা ছাড়াই বন্ধু হে আমার রয়েছো দাঁড়ায় জীবন। Now what does it mean? What Tagore want to say that so Tagore is writing, its mind is working. But when you read this particular verses, what I get out of that, he is writing something that, okay, that my friend, you cross the boundaries of life and death, and you. And can any one of us, like a very mundane people, human being like us, can you feel in that we have some memories, other than we cannot feel it? We cannot translate it into a writing. This is absolutely the interplay of mind and soul. For the people who are really erudite, for them this reconciliation takes place. And those who are really reach into that level of research, irrespective whether they are part of a formal education system or informal education system. Because see, that if you look at the journey of the human civilizations, those cavemen came out and with the stroke of stones, they invented fire. There is no science college and universities or IITs or MITs. But they changed the entire human course of life. Similarly, few women, they showed sheets at the river bed and found that, okay, the saplings came and then the grains came up. And it's a joy, it's agriculture got invented. So none of this happened in any laboratory. So that's the informal knowledge system also. So that is equally rich, equally subject of research, and equally part of our life. Now, having said so, another song I will sing and I'll move. Time will not. Another is that this is very beautiful. That all of us possibly, when I'll unfold the meaning. Maharajui kishaje ele hridayo puro maje চরণ তলে কোটি শশী সূর্য মারে লাজে মহারাজ কিসা. Now, in this particular song, through this song, Tagore is describing, he tells that Maharaja, that means the king. Now, if any one of us being asked that, how do you perceive a king? Then we'll possibly the palace and all those grandiose that will portray until it is part of history. And he is told, he is perceived a king and explaining his attire, not with swords and throne and all those beautiful dresses full of diamonds and gems. And where did that king is transcending Hridaya Puromache, reaching to my heart. And what is the attire of that particular king? Choronotole Koti Shushi. There are thousands of moon rotating around his feet. Even the sun is feeling ashamed of. Now see the journey. Irrespective of if any from any doctrine, whosoever can feel this way, they can feel in that way. They cannot draw it that I have seen, but God did it. From physical to metaphysical. This is the complete synchronizations of mind and soul. I do not have much knowledge about the philosophy, so I couldn't take much of the examples. Madam is there. So that's the way I understand. When we talk about the interdisciplinarity, we talk about the multidisciplinarity. Possibly the ultimate thing is, possibly, that's the absolute truth. But no one of us at any point of time have seen, have proclaimed, or in a position to proclaim that we got the absolute truth. That is not possible. So what we are vying for through our research, we are vying for a relative truth. So that is why constantly adding to the existing knowledge system. Theoretically, theory of knowledge. So if it is a theory of knowledge, then it is a search of relative truth. And how does the relative truth will come? A relative truth from our institutional perspective will come from the doubts. So what is the role of a researcher? What is the role of a teacher? What is the role of our students? It is constant negotiation with the doubts. So doubts is the mother of all kind of researchers, all irrespective of discipline. Is absolute. That means intrinsically we are answering this question irrespective of our subject disciplines. So maybe I left with another 30 minutes time. So therefore, now when we talk about this doubt, I prefer to quote Robert P. Gilpin, who was the first president of the Harvard University. And she told that university shouldn't be a factory of knowledge. Or university shouldn't be a factory of knowledge. Central issue of knowledge system, or for that matter, since we are either the part of college or universities, the central to the idea is the life. Now, if the central to the idea, if it is life, then there should be polyphony and cacophony of sounds. Now, this polyphony and cacophony of sounds, from where it will emanate? Yes, certainly the bird will sing, the trees will tilt from here to there. That's fine. Yeah, breeze will be there. The fragrance of flowers will come. But this polyphony of sounds and cacophony bound to come from the students. So the students, we try to make them disciplined. But this is also a very important attribute of any institutions, and those institutions have excelled. Those who we call the premier institutions, including the Aligarh Muslim University, that they allowed this thing to be part of the system. So if you debar this, if you clog them only to factory of knowledge, that means only allow mind to play, the soul will be missing. And if the soul gets missing, possibly the new innovation. On the one hand, we have satellites. We are sending the voyage to moon. Satellite to moon. On the other hand, we have a high precision microscope, which we can. We try to dig deep into the earth to understand the origin of the earth, how the earth is being created. Yet all these queries are actually the doubts. So therefore, when I talk about the interdisciplinary and to give to a person of literature or to a creative person, then it will depend talk, which is apparently seems. What's the meaning of a melting clock or clocks? The melted clocks are hanging all around. The beautiful picture, one of the finest pictures in the art. Or maybe you can get back to a movie. Creates a lot of laugh, but that's the very hard stuff of the society and reality. So you have seen the gold rush and all. I don't want to repeat. Or if you, the Beethoven once told, Mozart told that, okay, you don't have to read the notes always. To read the silence also between the notes. That statement made by Mozart. Now, when we talk about these, that you need to read the silence between the notes. Now, when you are breaking the silence, the notes are being created. And that note resonates. Our institution is something like that. Our research is something like that. The universities cannot become a factory of producing PhDs. We prefer to shape them, reshape them. And that is why you have a PhD degree and you have an independent, you are guiding the scholar across the globe, across the world. Another important issue, two important issues are there. I'll try to take it here. The next problem that comes within the realm of philosophy, that is called sociological problem. And all the researchers, we do confront that, we do address that. And what is that? The relation between individual and society. And that's a very kind of a loaded statement, the relation between individual and society. If we consider India, pre-1991 and post-1991, if you make a dividing line, you see. Now, what is the major changes that took place? Very, very strong changes that took place between individual and society that changed. We learned two things from Renaissance. Actually, and gradually, when the Western world, they accepted the idea of liberty, fraternity, from French revolutions and onwards. Two important attributes we got. One is called companionship and another is called cooperativeness. And when we talk about the changing relationship of the society, that means earlier the people was in between, was missing. On the one hand it's nation, on the other hand it's state, and in between the people. When this conjunction took place, we called it sovereignty. We called it democracy. We called it people's power. And that actually gives you a power and strength to become argumentative. And if argumentation is one of, why? Because it has again, quote unquote, two attributes. One is called affirmation, another is called critic. Now, critic can be C-R-I-T-I-C. Critic can be C-R-I-T-I-Q-E. The meaning is different. R-I-T-I-Q-U-E. Then I am actually looking some old arguments, validating or revalidating it. That is the addition to the existing knowledge. Another is that, okay, critic in the sense critical. I'm negating anything under the dispositions is I'm negating it. Then if I become too critical, C-R-I-T-I-C-A-L, it will pave the way for anarchy. Democracy will lose. Affirmation, what is the basis of affirmation? Affirmation is actually closely linked with the ethics. What is ethics? Ethics is all about is It's highest good of all living beings. And this highest good of all living beings, we cannot think. We are so engrossed with our own individual well-being. Forget about the society. Forget about, so we are tend to forget our society. So how could we be to other living being? And if that's a very by always moral judgment. Moral judgment. Moral judgment is ought to be or ought not to be. So should I prepare atom bombs or weapons for mass destructions, or should we ensure foods to every mouth? All will be in unanimity that, okay, we should ensure foods for every mouth. That should be the priority. That means ought to be is food for every mouth. Ought not to be, must be, that we shouldn't go for the creations armories of mass destruction. So this ought to be and ought not to be is actually linked with the affirmation. So how far I will remain affirmative? How far is actually I am justifying the concept of ought to be. But the problem is, if we become too affirmative, everything under the dispensation, if I say that, okay, ought to be, ought to be, ought to be, yes, yes, correct, correct, yes, sir, correct, sir. Too much affirmation will lead to autocracy. So therefore, when we talk about argumentations, and if democracy has to sustain, that is one of the strongest weapon, social structure, which integrate caste, creed, religion, privileges, try to dispel that, all kind of exclusion that took place historically. If we try to rectify that, out about. But having said so, if you become too affirmative, then possibly that will get diluted. Now coming back to ought to be or not ought to be, one of the important attributes is cooperativeness and companionship. And this cooperativeness and companionship is not only between individual and society, but with the nature also. I have a sense of companionship with the nature, which we do not have. So what serious changes that took place in post-1990 India, when we accepted neoliberalism, because there is the liberal ideas and neoliberal ideas are completely different. We actually made that what actually we are looking for, that is the joy for our soul, that is called inner happiness. So we gradually gravitated towards the material happiness. Material happiness is more closely apt with the Western thinkings. We never went for material happiness. We always look for inner. I again come back to Gandhi. So the Charkha, he told that, okay, India is a warm country. We have plenty of cottons. So we make a very simple clothes, cotton clothes, that is sufficient to survive. And without the nature, budding from those hill regions, simple life, self-sustained life. This cotton become mark of poverty in post and 80s, where polyester was more important than the cotton. And cotton is something like that. Okay, the poor people used to wear. And in post 1991, the beauty is that all of us, we are reaching to shopping malls, getting into different brands, and just looking very closely whether it is 100% cotton or not, and we are paying a premium price, ready to pay a premium price for that. So then what's wrong with Gandhiji and what's right now? Because our psyche, our brain got mapped in a manner, repackaged. So once, there's all of us, पहले हम लोग वो नमक यूज करते थे, and it was a serious hue and cry made. It's very bad. You use Colgate. Now the same thing is coming, and even use coal. Now we are purchasing with a premium price the same brand Colgate paste, having coal and salt. So see, that was the way of life that we had. That was actually part of need-based society. Salt is available. थोड़ा उसमें सरसों का तेल डाल लेते थे हमारे पिताजी, और ये हमारी जो नीम की जो ये है. These are all very things, simple things, easily available from nature. Most of the things थोड़ा बहुत करना पड़ता था. And our earlier thought process is something like that. We should have a society of that kind. But that shouldn't stop the interaction of knowledge system, interaction of knowledge. So you take the best ideas of Western ideas and imbibe. And that is why this cooperativeness and companionship. Now, when we're getting back to the research, we are talking nowadays, we again talking about the networking and collaborations. Every seminar that in international calls that, okay, you come here for this, join in this international conference or Abu Dhabi, and you can do network with the people. Calls are coming out, okay, do collaborate. We are collaborating. Maybe there are international collaboration also. What is social collaboration? Do our research consist social collaboration? If you look the entire 90s, and if you look the broad contour lines of the research, it is the global issues that took the priority of the research agendas. The regional, sub-regional issues got diluted in the research. That's fact. Because the global scholarship issues to be, there is no doubt about that global issues are to be addressed. I'm a global citizen always. Because we are Boshubhai the Kutumbakam, the whole earth is our friend. Relatives. We believe in that. We preach it to the entire world. But having said so, the question that arises is that when this collaborations and networking will take place, will it be based on regional or the entire universe is not homogeneous, our country is not homogeneous. Every mile India changes, so research agenda must be changing. People are different, their way of life different, their food is different, their culture is different, their language is different. Maybe the post-1990 created a more homogeneous society, so far our way of life is concerned. But that doesn't mean that 2/3 of the population become homogeneous. They are also getting tuned. Coca-Cola मिल जाते हैं, मिलते नहीं है. सेल फोन मिल जाते हैं, बैंडविड्थ मिल जाते हैं, रील देख लेते हैं, फेसबुक मिल जाते हैं, लेकिन ऑनलाइन पढ़ाई के बाद जब वो बात आते हैं कि आप थोड़ा पढ़ाई देख लो, थोड़ा स्वयं की प्लेटफॉर्म में लेक्चर देख लो, हम जाते नहीं है. Now we cannot blame others. We can say कि बैंडविड्थ की प्रॉब्लम है, नेटवर्क की प्रॉब्लम है. बट उसमें भी जितने मिलते हैं वो तो हम रील बनाने में देख चले जाते हैं, रील देखने में या बनाने में. अभी तो उस पे ही तुले हुए हैं। तो जो 2/3 पॉपुलेशन रह गए हैं, उनकी जो रोजमर्रा की जिंदगी की जो प्रॉब्लम है वो अधूरा रह गए हैं। तो वो तो भूल भुलैया में चल गए हैं। तो ये भूल भुलैया में डालने की जिम्मेवारी responsible. Research agenda, those issues which is actually surround my institutions. If my students go 100 miles or 10 kilometers from his institutions and find the research issues which are more pertinent. So therefore, the third problem, the philosophical problem that we talk about, is the individual and the state and the moral basis of precisely very important. आप अगर नॉर्थ कोरिया में होते हो और अगर आप सोचते हो कि आप क्रिटिकल थिंकिंग करेंगे, आई थिंक इट इज बिट डिफिकल्ट। तो उनके पास तो लिबरल आइडिया है ही नहीं। तो अगर लिबरल आइडिया अगर नहीं होते तो ना उसमें ना कंपेनियनशिप होंगे ना कोऑपरेटिवनेस होंगे। अगर ये दोनों नहीं होते हैं तो फिर आगे कैसे जाएंगे हम? इवन वी डोंट नो। सो पहले हमारे लंगर लगते थे। In Bengal, you used to tell that Noro Narayan Shiva. Nor means human being, and we used to find God within the human being. And if we offer them food together, we used to have food. That is called Noro Narayan Shiva. But there is no differences of caste, state, religion, anything. All of us, we said, be in the roadside and have the same kind of kids. And now the same kind of gatherings you'll find at the top of the rooftop of a shopping mall. And that is called food court. And there are also thousands of सकड़े हजारों आदमी मिल जाएंगे, लेकिन भीड़ में भी रहकर भी तना तना रहते हैं हम। तो ये भीड़ में रहकर भी तना तना रहते हैं हम, जो गुलजार जी की ने लिखे थे, why is the change in the society taking place? So therefore, my submission before you is that, okay, this research must consider state, moral basis of the state के साथ छेड़खानी हो जाए तो आपकी रिसर्च भी उसी डायरेक्शन पे चलेंगे। हमें पता नहीं है कैसे ये कोविड की जो ये है, इसमें काफी कितनी उसमें असलियत है, कितनी सच्चाई है, लेकिन ये तो बोला जाता है कि ये हमारे मतलब मास किलिंग के लिए हमने बनाए थे यूएस में, वहां से चाइना में, यूहान में चले गए थे। ये स्टोरी है, इसकी सच्चाई कितनी है, लेकिन ये बात भी तो सही है, आपने ऐसे भी बना के रखे हैं। तो ना मुझे एटम बम डालने पड़ेंगे, ना मुझे बहुत करोड़ों की मिसाइल डालने पड़ेंगे, मैं वायरस छोड़ दूंगा यार। तो ये भी तो सोचने वाली बात है। इसके ऊपर हम कितने टिप्पणी करते हैं, इसमें हम कितने देर इकट्ठा होकर बोलते हैं भाई ये बंद करो। आपने तो डिसआर्मामेंट एग्रीमेंट बनाए थे, नॉन प्रोलिफरेशन ट्रीटी किए थे, नॉन न्यूक्लियर बनाएंगे, आप डिस्ट्रॉय करेंगे, क्यों नहीं करते? इसलिए नहीं करते। द थिंग इज दैट वी टॉक अबाउट अ ग्लोबल विलेज, ग्लोबल वर्ल्ड, वेरी गुड, but what is the companionship and cooperative, that the basic liberal idea that West gave us? I can say, forget about our own philosophy. And that is therein, the institution, and especially the government-funded institutions, centrally funded institutions or state-funded, look for two things. One is that, okay, where education is a public good, where inclusion should be the core, and all of us may be the outcome of those educations which is by the society, of the society, for the society. मैंने 30 रुपया स्कूल की में सेकेंडरी पढ़े, उसमें 5 रुपया फीस मुझे देना पड़ा। उसके बाद मैंने अंडर ग्रेजुएट के 25 रुपया दिए, उसके बाद पोस्ट ग्रेजुएट के 45 रुपया ट्यूशन फी थे, उसके बाद पीएचडी किए 3500 दिए थे। Then who paid for me? It's the people of India, they paid for me. Then who should I pay my gratitude? For who should I work? For the society. So if I work, then what? How could I work? I cannot go and I can shape and reshape the young minds. And possibly that is the research, that is interdisciplinarity, that is the multidisciplinarity, but it should be ethical. So therefore, when you talk about the third problem that we address to our research, that is why when you write your synopsis or research proposal, आप क्या address कर रहे हैं, में क्या address कर रहे हैं, वो लिखना पड़ता है. हम तो लिखने के लिए लिख देते हैं, लेकिन मुद्दे यहीं पे आ जाते हैं. इसकी जो अंतर्निहित जो ये है, मीनिंग है, individual and the state and moral basis of justice, that actually gets reflected. So that's it all about. So I hope that all of us, and this is the extreme degree of cooperation with such a erudite group of teachers, sirs and madams, आपने मुझे सुनने की किए, मैं आपकी शुक्रगुजार हूँ. आप काफी हैं, हमसे काफी उम्र में काफी बड़े होंगे, उसके मैं सबको मैं प्रणाम करता हूँ. और जो मेरी साथी होंगे उनके लिए प्यार मोहब्बत रह जाएंगे. थैंक यू वेरी मच.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your interesting lecture. And it is already 7:02. So we used to have a kind of interaction. So 1 or 2 questions, if you have any, if anyone is having, they may share their doubts or make any comments on the presentations. And we are also waiting for Dr. Faiza Madam. She will be joining and will be having a concluding remarks, because this is the last session of this 23rd MMTTP program. So we are in the 9th day and we are going to conclude it. So I request all the participants, any participants having any doubts or need any clarifications, and you may please raise your hands, or you can just unmute and use it. You can speak.
Yeah, most welcome. All of you are most welcome. So as you know, beginner in the learning process. Thank you very much. You are putting your read in chat box. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. So my regards to all. My best regards to Faiza Madam also. So if I have been allowed, may I log in or log off?
एक मिनट.
Oh, madam आ रहे हैं. ठीक है. Okay, okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Now, if no one is having any doubts or does not want to make any comments, so as the director of the, actually director is supposed to join now, and before that, let me conclude this session. Being the course coordinator of the program, I'm Dr. Faisal KP from EMU Center Malappuram. So I, first of all, let me express my sincere thanks to each one of the participants, those who have been here for long. Now, it is on behalf of all the participants of this 23rd MMTP, I would like to extend our sincere gratitude to Professor Anjan Chakravarty sir for engaging the final session on NEP 2020. Your insightful and somewhat philosophical lecture emphasized the importance of the being both argumentative and critical in our understanding and thinking, which left a lasting impact, I think, each one of the participants. And being philosophical, that needs a kind of expertise, knowledge, and also kind of innovative thoughts, and also real thoughts, in fact. So, and I think that also having the scope of interpretation and also having understanding at different level. I hope you have inspired and also ignited the minds of the participants here. your ability to intervene philosophical perspectives with the practical aspect of NEP 2020 has broadened our understanding and encouraged us to approach education and the policy with a more thoughtful and reflective mindset. Thank you once again for your valuable time and for sharing your expertise. And we'll be looking forward again for this sort of programs in the future. Thank you. And I express my sincere thanks to each one of the participants who have been here. And I request that the participants let's listen to Mazhar sir or someone from AMU MMT Center so that they may conclude it and they may also inform actually what is going to happen here just now. So please remain online and Professor Anjan sir, I once again express thanks and gratitude to you, and I think Professor Faiza Abbasi ma'am will be joining us that we are expecting, and that was Mazhar sir told me.
Guys, because ma'am is certain kind of inspirations for all of us, and in our center, not enriched, not on the regular basis. I'll be very happy to wait to have an interaction. Certainly, I'll be here.
Dear participants, I just contacted Faiza madam. She will be joining soon, and before that, I request all of you, some of you at least, to speak something about how the program was there. What is there? Did you find it useful, and how we can improve the program? And what was your some of you may share their feedback, and Faiza ma'am also will be taking some of your feedbacks, and we are also taking note of it. So I request you to please be reflective and share something about your learning experience of this 8-day program.
Very good evening, sir.
Hello, thank you.
Sir, it's very interesting and nice program, and which is very useful for us.
Okay.
In our teaching career.
So, in what aspect you found it's useful in terms of?
Sir, in the aspect of teaching method, which teaching method we have to use, or how to deal with the students, how to engage the students, or what is the basic implication of NEP? What is the implication of NEP Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Honestly. Okay.
It's very nice program, sir.
Okay, thank you. So we'll meet again sometime in some other programs. You are from?
Sir, I
Can you
am from,
introduce yourself?
sir, I am Dr. Deepak Kumar Behra, Assistant Professor at Aditya Institute Technology and Management, Andhra Pradesh.
Andhra Pradesh. Okay, good, nice. So how did you come to know about this program?
Sir, I am searching in MMTC website.
Okay. Okay, fine. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Someone else?
सर
Yeah,
बहुत
sir.
बढ़िया प्रोग्राम है
Yes, sir. The program was very nice and enhanced our knowledge also, especially about NEP. Now in our college just started NEP, so I think many doubts, many confusion in my mind. I
Okay.
think to some extent have cleared
Okay,
to
so nice.
appearing in this program, sir. Thank you.
And you have been very active participant of this program for that.
So, sir, there might be some mistake also. Yes, sir. There might be some mistakes also in my
No,
speech.
it's fine, it's fine.
In my,
It is always welcome to speak. Whenever we are speaking, then only we can make ourselves correct also. You have been also interacting with the participants, and I have been noticing it. So nice, and I appreciate, and I also express thanks because that makes
Thank
our
you, sir.
actual sessions interactive.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay. So anyone else? So you can speak instead of what is it, texting, please.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah.
Walaikum salam. Kon Abdul Kalam
Good
sir.
evening to all. Good evening to all.
No.
Ishtiyaq from Kashmir.
Ishtiaq Ahmad, please. Okay, fine.
Ji. Sir, it is
Please.
I
Please carry
enjoyed
on.
a lot and learned a lot. Not only enjoyed but learned a lot, and according to this methodology research, how to tackle the students, and so many things. And
So nice.
I haven't the words to express my views how much I have learned. But sir, one thing is there. I would have liked it much better if I would have been there offline in front of Mazhar sir and you people of bus. That's what I missed.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Assalamu alaikum.
So obviously.
Okay, good evening, Dr. Faisal KP and my dear
Yes, ma'am. Okay, you have
Good
joined. That's
evening.
nice. So nice.
Yes,
So
good
nice.
evening. I'm sorry. This is a very particularly disturbing day here in Aligarh. It's hello, Dr. Anjan.
Yes, ma'am. Just waiting to just say you give my regards to you.
Thank you.
It's a
Thank you.
really enjoyable session at the last day.
You.
I thoroughly enjoyed, and there is a good participations from the esteemed participants. So it's a very interesting sessions for me, and I learned a lot, ma'am. And thank you.
No, I'm sure they would have learned a lot from you and the participation. All credit goes to our coordinator, Dr. Faisal KP. I'm sure it must have been good for you to be introduced to him. He's the director of our AMU center in Malappuram.
Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am, with your kind permissions and with the kind permissions of the coordinator, sir, and with all the esteemed participants, all of सब अच्छे रहे, बहुत खुश रहे, and madam, मेरे प्रणाम आपकी ये, and you will get inspirations for all of us. Share the
बहुत शुक्रिया, Dr. Anjan Chakravarty.
Okay, well. Okay.
Have a good night. Take care. Okay, so Dr. Faisal, I think some participants want to say something, so you can give them a chance to speak and then.
Okay. 3 people have already talked. I engaged them in between so that you may join. So so anyone else, 2-3 can they share their experience?
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening.
Good evening, Dr. Abdul. Do you want to say something?
Ma'am.
Yes, please.
Hello,
go ahead.
This was nice program. Thanks to all of you. I hope the program will help to sensitize the teachers to teach the students, especially especially I thanks to the MMTC authority of AMU to convene such nice program. Thanks to all of you.
Thank you very much. My pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Once again, thanks to all of you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, Faisal sir. Faisal ma'am.
Good evening.
Actually, it was very useful and interactive session last 8 days. I found it is very interesting also and a lot of informations uh, with good presentations from outcome-based education, curriculum designing, participative teaching learning methods, research. Everything had been included in this program. We feel it was a very nice presentation. I suggest that it would be great if you could share the video lessons also.
Okay. No.
Video lessons also so that we can also share from among our faculty colleagues in our colleges, so that it will benefit a more number of faculty members in our colleges also. Thank you very much. It was a nice experience. Actually, I joined this program from a message from the AMU Malappuram Center. Thank you, the director sir of AMU. Thank you very much. It was a very nice and wonderful session. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for the kind words.
So, ma'am, can you please have a concluding remarks and let me have a word of thanks also, and so we conclude. So it is 7:70.
Yes. Okay. So thank you, Dr. Faisal KP, for this opportunity. And I must at the very outset place my deep sense of appreciation, for all the participants who took out the time to pursue this course. This certainly is another a feather in the cap of all the participants who have shown their commitment to the national education policy, to development in education, and to expansion of knowledge. Thank you for choosing to be with us here at the UGC MMTTC AMU when we collaborated with the AMU Center Malappuram. And when I come to that, I have to put on record my acknowledgement and my gratitude to Professor Dr. Faisal KP, the director of the AMU Center. I have been collaborating with him for quite a long period of time by now. I also remember just now Ishtiaq Saab was saying that it would have been wonderful had participants got the opportunity of coming here, being here, and in front of us. So as part of Callum, we had these opportunities and we traveled all the way up to Malappuram for programs. We held programs there and we met, and what a beautiful, lovely campus out there. And one person who's been there since then till now is, of course, Dr. Faisal KP. So I'm so glad that he's been maintaining academic standards there, and he's trying his best. He's making earnest endeavors towards the quality functioning of the center. And indeed, this course for which we collaborated is another tribute to the commitment for excellence at the center, and especially with the director. Participants, today Professor Anjan Chakravarty spoke to you. Professor SM Khan has been in touch, has been speaking to you today. And before that, quite a few very eminent resource persons, Professor Abdul Rahim, Dr. Shakila Shamsu. We tried our best to bring the best of resource persons to you so that they could sensitize you towards the goals and missions of NEP, and so that they could orient you towards the national education policy. I hope whatever you have learned will be of use to you in implementing the policy back at your host institutions, and in also taking the educational goals of the country forward in making the country, if not a Vishwa Guru, then at least a Vishwa Mitra. As you know, the theme of the G20 deliberations this year that our country headed was One World, One Earth, One Family. And knowledge happens to be universal, universally applicable, and universally acceptable. These with more autonomy, with more internationalization, with more cutting edge research, we are preparing the higher education sector of our country towards those graduate attributes of our students, which make them critical thinkers and critical doers, and also having subject knowledge. So I wish that whatever you have learned here doesn't stay here; it is carried forward. And I was very, I must say, enthralled at having such a large number of participants, and especially from the south of India. And I must thank Dr. Faisal KP for all the efforts that he has put in putting this group together, and in very carefully and very efficiently coordinating this course. I look forward to more such collaborative efforts with you, Dr. Faisal. Now, I just want to make this small piece of announcement. I hope you have all appeared for the first test that was organized on the online mode in the after the first day of the course. And today, again, there will be a very short MCQ test, after which you are free to go. And if you have appeared for both the tests, then within a couple of days of time, we will be issuing your certificates to you. So once again, thank you, Dr. Sadaf, for that comment. Listening from you is always a pleasure. And having you in the course and working with you is also always a pleasure. Yet again, the team that Dr. Faisal is commanding out there at the AMU Center Malappuram, with people like Dr. Sadafi, which is listening to her. I just read a comment from her. I've been working earlier also with her. It's again a tribute to the excellent work that's happening.
Thank you.
Montane,
Thank you, Ma. Thank
evergreen
you so much for
forests
your
of
kind words.
Parental Malla. So, Dr. Faisal, it's over to you to thank the and in
Okay.
absentia those person. And till we meet again, continuous professional development should be continuous. Learning is a lifelong process. All of us are teachers.
Yes.
Wonderful, wonderful to come to an academic staff college and get the taste of it again. So my doors are always open for you. We have Please visit our website. Please come back to our courses and let us make this learning deluge a very, very mutually engaging one. Thank you so much. My best wishes to all of you, and may God bless everybody with success in personal life, with success in careers, and with success in all aspirations. Thank you very much.
Thank you, man. Thank you so much for your kind words and appreciating messages that you have given, and also wondering words that always have been inspirational and moving for me to take up all these kind of responsibilities. And I'll be looking forward again to have this kind of programs, collaborative program in the future as well, inshallah. If any possibility is there, we can also have offline program. That always have been a wish for me, that to have a person like you to be once again the campus where we can meet at the center. So as we draw this 23rd MMT1 NNTP to close, I'm filled with a profound sense of gratitude and fulfillment. Over the past 8 days, we have had the privilege of engaging with the leading experts who have illuminated various aspects of the new education policy. Our sessions have been rich in insight spanning critical areas such as teaching methodologies, research advancement, and evolving education landscape. I would like to acknowledge and appreciate the enthusiastic participants of all the attendees. Your interactions, queries, and reflections have greatly enriched our discussions and made this program dynamic and engaging. And a special note of thanks again, note of thanks to Faiza ma'am, the director of MTTC, for giving this opportunity for me to coordinate this event. And I'm equally grateful to Professor Saji Jamal sir, Mazhar sir, and Zulfikar sir, and the entire supporting team from AMU who have been coordinating this program and all support, providing all technical support. And once again, thank you all for making this event a resounding success. Your dedication to advancing education and research is truly inspiring. We look forward to the continued impact of these discussions and deliberations as we move forward. And thank you all.
Thank you very much, Dr. Faisal.
Thank
And thank
you.
you, I think
Thank you
Mazhar
very
will
much, sir.
MCQ and everybody should appear for that.
Okay, fine. Okay, thank you.
It's there in the WhatsApp group. It's already shared in the WhatsApp group. Please.